So for anyone who doesn't know who you are, I can't imagine there's many people these days, but do you want to just introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what you do, what you're all about?
Yeah, of course. So I am Stephanie White. I call myself Stephanie White No Sugar, the highly caffeinated copy connoisseur behind the agency By the Way Creative. So we produce copy for female founders, service-based business owners, and coaches. And then I also have a kind of mentoring side of my business as well, where I help support biz baristas in growing their copywriting business too. So kind of two sides
Yeah,
to it,
there's you.
but
And
in a
you
nutshell.
also support our clients as well inside of Launch to Freedom. In fact, you've supported our clients for years now, haven't you, inside different programs? You were in the masterminds before, and now you are in Launch to Freedom. I know we're going to get onto that a little bit today, so I'm really excited for everyone that is watching just to really understand how you support our clients too. But I thought it might be really cool just to start off with talking about some of the changes that are happening in the industry right now, because as we know, this industry is forever growing, but there's also a lot of people leaving at the moment as well and deciding it's not for them. So what have you seen happening in the industry that's made you think like, this is why copy is so important right now, more so than ever?
Yeah, there's a few things. I think the main one is that we're moving into a much more ethical and sustainable kind of socially conscious era. I know definitely as millennials, we're kind of late to the party on this. Actually, our forebears are doing a much better job of this. But I think that's a big reason why the industry is changing. Is people who've grown up in this industry and under the old kind of regimen, which is quite bro marketing-y, quite sales focused. If they haven't innovated and become much more socially aware, culturally aware, then those businesses are kind of like falling to the wayside and not doing as well. The other thing, which I've seen loads of people talking about this, and there's like different
Yes,
sides of the fence, is
yes, yes,
AI in
yes.
copy. So it's caused a huge stir. Personally, I'm very pro AI. I think it's a fantastic tool if you know how to use it. But where it's kind of tripping people up with copy is people are getting scared and then leaning on AI tools to do their writing for them, not getting the results that they were expecting to get when something's been pre-written and they're thinking it must work, and therefore thinking that there's something wrong with what they're offering or whatever. So kind of, I think that's another issue that we're kind of facing at the moment, is people not having the education to know how they can use AI, but they still have to infuse it with who they are. And if people aren't capable of doing that, or they haven't been shown how to do that, that can really put people off being an online business owner, creating content,
Yeah,
selling,
that is a very,
all
very
that
good
kind of stuff.
point. I think, a lot of copywriters might have got a little bit scared about like, oh my God, am I going to be out of work? If
Mm-hmm.
everyone's just using technology to write copy, am I going to be out of a job? And actually, it's really interesting. I had a client send me some copy that they'd written and then copy that they'd put through AI. And I was like, I much prefer the version that you've written because it's you. And I think like no matter how much you want to lean on AI, it's never going to be you. And I think that is really important, isn't it? Especially when you want it to stand out as well, because if we're thinking about all the people that are kind of blending in at the moment, they're using very much the same messaging. Like when people are really,
Mm-hmm.
diving more into copy, understanding their unique tone of voice, understanding what their brand message is, they're able to stand out so much more, aren't they? And like you obviously work with many 6 and 7 figure
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. Like what are some of the things that you've seen within that space, like what people are doing with their copy right now to stand out? Yeah.
So actually shorter copy, there's a lot of much shorter copy coming out because you can have a tool write you a long form caption, or you can repurpose something that you've used before. Long form actually isn't hitting in the same way that it used to, because a lot of it's regurgitated, or like you say, there's very like samey structures that people are using. So actually short form copy is something that people are putting more focus on, doing a lot more work around. So good taglines is always going to be important. Program names that really, really stand out, more efforts going into that than ever before. And then I think the way that people present results has changed a lot too. So where we used to just kind of give like 1 or 2 sentences from a client that had like the key, like, oh, I increased my income by this much, or I did whatever. A lot of those much more successful entrepreneurs are doing less testimonials
Yes.
and more case studies. So big deep dives into one client's experience with or without their name, however they feel comfortable. But like we said, because lots of people are leaving the industry and ethics are being called into question, those more successful entrepreneurs are being way more transparent on what it is that they've done with specific clients. So you can kind of follow that client's story instead of just seeing a carousel of results that you're like, those could be
I think as well, people are waking up to the fact that a one sentence win doesn't give the whole story. So I think, you know, as this industry is forever growing, maybe some people have invested in programs or mentorship or whatever it might be, and they've not had the result that they expected because they saw somebody say they doubled their income or tripled their income in 3 days, and they're like, that hasn't happened for me, but they haven't seen that whole story. So I think that is really key as well. And also why it is so important to share the context behind someone's journey. Like, you might be starting at ground zero, you might be starting at level 1, and this testimonial that you've seen, or this piece of feedback, is someone starting 3 years in, who's already got an audience, who's already had success, and it was just one little tweak for them that enabled them to create this big success, not having to get to that point of the results starting to show.
Yeah, it's context, isn't it? I think that's what we're all looking for now, is more of that context, which you're never going to be able to do through an image. That's always going to be done through copy.
So I think this leads us nicely into maybe some of the biggest challenges that especially coaches or service providers are facing right now if they are starting out. Because I know that I do have a lot of people who follow Social Cactus who are in that earlier stage of business, or they may be launching something for the first time or officially launching. They might have put offers out there before, but not really seen much result, much traction. And now they're like, right, how can I level this up? What would you say are 3 of the main challenges that you see people facing right now with their copy?
So the first one, definitely for anyone who's launching for the first time, is the structure and the flow of larger pieces of copy. Always like just completely terrifies people. So sales pages, for example, it's probably one of the chunkiest pieces of copy that you'll write for your business, and it also carries so much significance. It's so important because it's literally doing the selling for you when you're not there. So the flow of those pages can really trip people up and make them feel really, really nervous, and it doesn't need to. Like, it's one of the biggest things we cover in my guest sessions in Launch to Freedom is flow of pages and just reorganizing what people have written. So that would be the main one. I think that stops people from getting started.
But also with that, with sales pages, once you've got that foundation set, you can take copy from there and turn it into content. You can be showing up on stories or lives and using what's on your sales page to communicate how you can help people. Even things like your freebies, your masterclasses, all of those things. Once you've got that structure of your sales page, you know how to talk about what it is that you do. So I think that is really the foundation, isn't it? And then it's kind of like the spider web to everything else.
100%. It can cause so much like inspiration that you can use. I think that kind of ties into that. The second thing that people then struggle with, so the flow stops them from getting started. The thing that then stops them from actually sharing their message is this fear around brand voice. Is like, it sounds like everybody else, or they're really conscious that they're being massively influenced by people that they're comparing themselves to, and they haven't found a way of really cementing themselves in, okay, this is how I'm going to talk. These are the kinds of adjectives that I'm always going to use. These are my taglines. This is probably my favorite kind of work that we do. And you've got some incredible examples in Launch to Freedom at the moment, because there's such a wide variety of women in there, where we've got some ladies where we've been able to be really funny and that's worked really well. We've got some where we've been able to collect beautiful adjectives that sound super elevated, and then that's how they speak. So they don't want to sound kind of like girl boss. That's not their vibe. So then getting that like infiltration of brand voice through everything they've written. If people don't feel confident to do that, then that stops them from sharing what they've written because they don't feel like it sounds authentic. And then that final piece is definitely just the confidence, which is what you get from having a copy coach, being in a group program, having coaches that will look through the stuff that you've written. Is sometimes you actually just need someone to say, this is boss. Like, share it. You've just got to get it out there. That's always the final piece of copy. People will have written it, they'll have rewritten it, they'll have gone over it a million times, and it never sees the light of day because they've not had the confidence to just be like, actually, yeah,
absolutely. Like, how many times have people sat down at their laptop, first of all being confused, like, what the hell am I supposed to talk about? I don't know what to say or how to say it in a way that's going to actually bring people in and, you know, convert people into clients. And then second of all, like you just said, like having that confidence, then hit post, and then that doubt, like, oh, is this the right thing? Am I saying it the right way? Is this a load of rubbish? And then it spirals those thoughts out of control. Well, maybe I just won't post it. Maybe I'll just write it another day. And I think having that support, especially from you have literally the feedback I get from our clients after your sessions, but you message me completely buzzing, like, that was the best session ever. And then they message good, oh,
every time.
Stephanie just helped me so much. And I love to see it all come to life. So when you've helped them with naming things, which seems to be I see that as the biggest struggle for people. They hold back because they don't know what to name their offers, their programs, their freebies, and that's like the first stumbling block. Once they get past there, then you help them to understand this can be a fun process. You know, you can infuse your personality, you can infuse everything about you into this copy so it feels fun to write. And I think a great example of this is Diane and Gemma as well. Like, I've really noticed their personalities shining so much within their,
Those are the two I was thinking of.
Not to say that nobody else has done this, but they're the two that spring to mind of, I really see them injecting their personality into all of their content through the work that you've done with them. So it's amazing.
It's so, I love it. It's literally so fun. And like you say, once people get the confidence to be able to do it themselves in their own business, then it becomes fun for them too. Like, if I've got to name something that I'm going to create in my business, because the coffee motif is so strong and my brand tone of voice is like very, very guidelined up to the hilt, I know exactly how I speak, I find it a fun process and I like look forward to naming stuff. So when people come to me and they're like, this is one bit of copy I've written, this is another bit of copy I've written, I'm like, okay, they're really different, let's bring this together. Like, who are you, what do you stand for? I literally having like funny flashbacks to some stuff we did with Diane the other day, actually. That it's just really lovely to watch people come alive and be excited by their own programs, and then they're able to talk about it more because they're super proud of this name that they've come up with, that they're really emotionally.
If you're going to get out there and talk about it, you need to feel good about what it's called. I'm wondering how many people watching this now are like, yep, I always struggle with naming things, and it takes you maybe days or weeks or even months to actually put a name to something before you even think about anything else, putting any more copy around it. Be really interested to know if that's resonating with anybody.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the biggest things I get asked about, and it's definitely one of the biggest things that in copy co-coaching, it's something that I spend a lot of time doing with people. But it's
brilliant. So we have obviously touched on that you are one of our amazing support coaches inside of Launch to Freedom. So someone's just said, struggle naming my children. Laura.
Children. Laura, I have notes in my phone that go on for days of like potential children's names, because could you imagine how, for a copywriter, I obsess over words so much. I don't envy you. I find that
I'm imagining a mocha, a cappuccino.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Flat white.
Weird coffee names. This is macchiato.
Imagine, that would be so funny. So yeah, obviously you are one of our fabulous coaches inside of Launch to Freedom, along with the lovely Aisha, who helps with marketing, along with the lovely Darren, who helps with tech, and of course our amazing head coach Serena as well. But what would you say has been the thing that you've loved helping clients with the most out of everything that you help people with? What's been your favorite thing to help people with?
I think it's when it's those final tweaks before a sales page is going live or a freebie funnel is about to get launched, knowing the significance of what it is that we're working through together in that moment. For me, like, there's obviously loads of fun bits I've mentioned about naming programs and stuff like that. It's like my favorite thing to do with someone. But in terms of like emotionally connecting with somebody with their copy, it's knowing that, okay, today I'm giving feedback on this piece of copy, and by the end of the week, this woman is going to have shared this. That feels so incredible, to watch all of somebody's hard work that they've done inside your program come to fruition. That is an amazing
I love that so much. I feel the same as well, because, you know, we work with people for 6 months and help them to really set these solid
Mm.
foundations, really put together incredible offers, you know, really mastering their messaging around what it is that they do, how they're talking about, how they help people, and putting together a full launch and sales process. When it finally comes to life, it feels like, must be like what teachers feel like, you know, when their kids are graduating or passing
Yes.
exams. Yeah, because then they've got those
Fly,
skills
fly.
forever. They can repeat this process again and again and again, and they know they've got copy that works. They know they've got a sales process that brings in clients consistently as well. So it's just such a wonderful feeling.
I love it. And it's the tools they walk away with, like you say, everything they learn. It's not like a one and done process. This isn't like everyone inside this program works with you for this one launch that you're doing. It's about how you can holistically up level everything about how you launch, even if it's the first time you've ever launched, so that when you go off out there on your own, you can do it again and again, but you've got the tools to be like, oh, the industry's changed in this way, I'm going to tweak my freebie in this way, or how people are speaking, how my audience has up leveled and changed since the last time I launched, I need to change this. It's those skills that they get forever. Like you said, it's not just this one and done process, which is where I think our industry is going, is how can we support people long term, giving them the actual skills rather than here's a blueprint, go and input it, and it's really contextual and only
Yeah,
works for a
yeah,
certain
that is
period
so
of time.
important. And that is exactly why we built this program the way that we built it, to give people these skills that are going to last
Mm-hmm.
them a lifetime. Because I always remember back to when you were in launches years ago now, and I remember what you said to me at the retreat that we were on together in May, and you said that that completely changed the game for you. And
Massively. Yeah. Yeah, having a structure that I could build off. Like when you've got nothing, you can't improve from
yeah,
a process that doesn't exist. Like as soon as you've got a process and you've tried and tested it, then that's where I always go back to now. I still use the same time frames, I still use the same amount of kind of like touch points and live elements. Maybe what those elements are might change depending on who I'm speaking with, whether it's, you know, my copywriters that are making 5k months or my copywriters that are just starting. But the process for me of how I communicate with those people is still the same structure. You can just tweak and change it as you go on. So yeah, that was years ago, but that was an
yeah.
absolute game changer
And
for
that
me and
just
my
goes to show
business
that is
for
the
sure.
evidence that once you learn these skills, they're with you forever. And like Stephanie's saying, as the industry is
Mm-hmm.
changing, you can still use the same structure, the same process, and just tweak it accordingly. Like you might pivot, you might change direction, but as long as you know the foundations of how to create, launch, and sell your offers, you can't go wrong. Like I'm always so grateful that I learned how to launch, because I know no matter what happens in the business, I know I've got these skills that last me forever. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing it with other people, because I want them to be able to do that as well. Yay! I get so excited. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to also share that if you are watching this right now and you're like, I need some help right now, I need some support with growing my business, with signing higher paying clients. This is something that we're really loving helping people with. Maybe going from signing 3-figure clients to 4-figure clients, because that is a big leap for people. Like, how many people have tried to raise their prices to 4 figures and then they're coming up against all these mindset blocks, they're coming up against all this rejection, they're hearing crickets. So what we've done is we've put together a completely free business and mindset retreat, which is happening on Monday. It is called the Freedom Method. And we're going to be walking you through our Freedom Method, our process of how we consistently sign higher paying clients so that we can create a life of ultimate freedom for us. We know that that's not different for everybody, but this is what we are so passionate about, is helping you launch your way to freedom with your amazing offers. So we're going to help you with that inside of the retreat. And I know that you've got a special link to share if anyone would like to come and have a chat with you about what it might be like working with Social Cactus. If anyone has been thinking, this Launch to Freedom sounds like a really fantastic program, I want to know more about this. I know that you're really open if anyone wants to slide into your DMs and have a little chat with you. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And like we've talked a lot about ethics and things on this live. For full context, so that anyone watching this knows, this isn't a case of because I work with Amy, I'm going to say nice things about Amy. Like we said at the beginning of this, 3 years ago, I made a 4-figure investment to work with Amy on a VIP day. It wasn't my only VIP day working with her. I then have worked with Amy for years and years in tons of her programs, from launches. I've done magnetic marketing, her course. So when I say that I will give you my honest opinion about what it's like working with Social Cactus, I've put my money where my mouth is. Multiple 4 figures, probably 5 now.
You have invested
working with Social Cactus.
5 figures.
So, yeah, there's no.
You've invested way more than 5 figures. Yeah, you need a year-long mastermind with me.
I don't even think about it anymore, because it was just such an obvious investment for me, and the growth has been amazing, and like getting to meet all of the women in Marbella as well was just so fantastic. So yeah, come and slide into my DMs. There's people in Launch to Freedom right now that I've spoken to before that have come through based on conversations that we've had. So I'm totally open.
But the best place to start is come to the free retreat. It is completely free. This is an opportunity for you to massively up-level not only your mindset but your business as well. And we really don't hold back on these events. We could quite easily charge for them because they are so good and people get so much from them. So it starts on Monday, 1 o'clock UK time, 1 hour a day. It's all you need. There will be a little bit of homework, but we've also got a £10,000 scholarship prize available for someone who signs up and attends. And what that means is that one person who joins the retreat will be able to work with Social Cactus for 6 months, and we've got our £10,000 scholarship prize. But all the details will be revealed when you sign up. So the link is in my bio, or have a chat with Stephanie. She'll share a link with you as well. And then the doors to Launch of Freedom are opening next week. How exciting! I'm so excited to see who's going to join and obviously get your fabulous support. So thank you so much, Stephanie, just for being you, being amazing, helping our clients, making me smile every day, and just being fab.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy. It's always a pleasure. You attract the best people. All of the groups that I've ever co-coached in have been amazing. I've got a special place in my heart for the Launch to Freedom lot because they're just awesome, and yeah, buzzing to keep supporting them. And I'll be at the free event.
Have a wonderful day, and thank you everyone for watching. Bye.